Assalamu alaikum, Tendai Mari, Akwaba, whatever your greeting of peace, welcome. It is the Talk Black Radio show. Welcome every Sunday. I like to be here. I'm your host, Justin Mohammed, and we chop up the news, the views, and what is important we feel to the black community to discuss. As ever, I'm here with my co-hosts, my partners in righteousness, Trevor Mohammed and David Mohammed, and we're joined by an illustrious guest this week. I'm grateful to have our brother Shakara is with us. Tafadzwa Shakara Bandaka,
yes,
to give him his full title and credence. How are you, big brother?
Greetings to my brother Justin. Give thanks for inviting me on the show. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah,
I've been following the thing, brother Justin. You know what I mean? Like, you are hotting up the YouTube right about now.
I was gonna ask you, how are you? You're hotting up the YouTube yourself.
We're trying. You know
I saw a recent scandal tape of you dancing under the influence at Carnival. Looking sideways.
Under the influence of soca, yes.
Under the influence. Like, so let me see what I got in Shakara's world one morning. So I go on the YouTube, have a look. I see my brother shaking at me and whatever. Did you notice what was taking place behind you as a brother desecrated the Grenadian flag? Did you see that?
I didn't notice at the time, but I saw it off when the video was sent to me. So
I saw that. I'm a Grenadian. Savages.
Yeah,
the flag. Maurice Bishop gave his life.
I heard that, King.
Okay, but hey, you had a good carnival.
Yeah, man.
Right.
I'm here actually missing Hackney Carnival today, brother Justin.
What? Until you get enough carnival last week?
I'm certain going.
And let we talk.
I'm hearing it, so I know my priorities. They're ridiculous.
All right. So the others, David, Trevor, how are you lot getting on? Trevor, how's your week this week?
Interesting.
I think you need to get a bit closer to the mic so we know how interesting.
Yeah, interesting. I went to the cinema. I saw this film, Detroit.
Yes. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Thumbs down.
Yeah.
They can't see you on Radio Land. Thumbs down.
It's got to be a thumbs down. Do you know what it was? The film's well made. It's a Hollywood film. It's well made. The acting is good for the most part. But it was the story. It's based on the true story. It's set in the 60s, 1967, where
you could have a spoiler alert time. I know you like to come and give people.
I'm not gonna. But I'm just giving the
context.
The synopsis they say in it. So it's based on a true story, something that happened in a hotel in 1967, where they were having the Detroit riots, and police broke into a hotel looking for a sniper. And when they went into this hotel, basically they found, I think, like 6 or 7 black people and 2 white girls, and they've interrogated them. So the whole film is based on that interrogation, and basically in that time murders take place. So that's what the whole film is centered around.
Okay.
But as I'm
joyous Friday evening, that sounds.
It was a mistake. I was thinking on my Friday, that's not what I wanted to see. But what it was is, for me, I drove away kind of feeling a certain type of way, because it was just it's about police racism.
Yeah.
And it's like it was like the savagery of one race versus the kind of helplessness of another, and you're seeing people begging for their lives and that. And just for my psyche, it's like, it's not. I feel I'm a bit tired of that image of us.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Where we're helpless and we're in trouble. And the thing is, even how it ends and stuff, it just left me feeling like,
it's that we gonna die. Man.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like when he was mentioning this to me in the week, and we had a conversation about how some of the ways that we was portrayed in the 90s, particularly in England, and gave brother his first look at Rusty Lee. Y'all remember Rusty Lee?
No, not at all.
Oh, you're too young.
Yeah,
David, do you remember Rusty Lee?
Yes.
Oh, God, the pain. If you're listening online now and you are under 30 years old, Google Rusty Lee. Trevor couldn't understand why we weren't rioting in the streets. That stuff was or Mr. Motivator.
Okay, I've seen this. I just didn't know her name.
She had to go. Every 30 seconds. I think it was in the contract. And there's a scene, the one I showed you, like Les Dawson going like, "Can we stop that now, please?"
No, it's too much. It was too much. It's too much.
Yeah, interesting.
But okay, cool. David, how about you? What you been up to this week?
Lots of nothing. Right now, it's just pinching truth. kind of subject we've got dealing with today, it's just that's the main thing on my head right now.
In terms of the research and getting ready for that.
What's going in the Caribbean and the world, man.
Actually, you know what? With the Caribbean thing, I was thinking it's terrible. It is terrible. Off goes the hurricane. I wasn't really into it. I didn't see too much.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, it's really bad? And people saying, yeah, it's really bad.
Yeah.
And then I looked and I saw the map. But when I watched the map, I was like, oh. So, get past Grenada, there was reports saying, it's gone off the northeast coast of Barbados, result. Yeah. And it's gone down by Cuba. It's gone off Cuba, result. Nice one. How the family good? Yeah, okay, nice. And then they went, so it has hit land. What did it hit? Turks and Caicos, Bermuda, and St. Martin. Yeah. These are all territories of Western territories, aren't they?
Basically, at the moment. I mean, my family is from Antigua.
Yes.
So, on my mother's side.
It just passed Antigua.
So it just passed Antigua. But obviously, they associate, because it's Antigua and Barbuda, they associate. It's actually Trinidad and Tobago. So obviously, I don't have any family in Barbuda that I'm aware of. But obviously, there's a lot of relief efforts going on there, because obviously our people are there.
I heard the police governor from Bermuda talking. On BBC Radio, and he was like, well, we could just evacuate the island. And they was going, how can you do that? That's too much. He was like, if the government was to do what they got to do, it's not hard to evacuate the whole government.
They say it's the smallest, if not, so one of the smallest, if not the smallest island. So the population is not massive, so it should be,
a few thousand. A minor thing to do. And I think we'll get more into it as we get more information, because it's going into Florida. It's over Florida now.
Yes.
And to me, I don't know if you all see it like this, but to me, the conversation of how they're preparing and dealing with Florida is distinctly different from how they dealt with it when it was over the Caribbean.
Very definitely. I just think that it's a lot. There's a lot of hurricanes happening right about now. You see what I'm saying? And so the news in terms of how people are dealing with it is very interesting to watch in terms of how people are preparing and them kind of things there. But I think that I'm always struck by the fact that no disaster is ever just natural. In terms of whether it's natural by in terms of how it started in the first place, or natural in terms of the impact that it has on people. There's always politics and social dynamics that needs to be analysed within all of these situations. You know what I'm saying? So it's very interesting to observe what I've got.
But I see what you're saying, because disaster is big business. We're talking billions the minute it happened. And they were like, it's 70 billion. I was like, where did you get that figure from? Like, whose wages have you put in there that got that up to 70 billion? So disaster is big money. It's not about like just we care, we love the people, let's go save them. It's not that kind of thing. So I get it. All right. Another thing in the news we've had this week. Mr. Lammy has done a very interesting report, I hear. And then I say he's done an interesting report because he probably didn't have a lot of work to do, because it seemed like a lot of those statistics and that information we've been talking, because I've been to your events and we've been talking about that for a while. You've been to our events and we've been talking about that for a while. So, Mr. Trevon Mohammed, if you'd like to give us the details on the Lammy report.
So basically, 2016, just before he got the sack, he sacked himself. David Cameron commissioned David Lammy the Tottenham MP, to do a report into overt, covert and unconscious racial bias in the criminal justice system. So now the report was released this past week. And to be honest, if I'm honest, it kind of confirms. I don't even know if we can say it confirms.
But it's a moot point. I think
it's like that. It's basically saying that racism is all over the criminal justice system. That's basically what the report. So when you read it, So when you read it in the Telegraph or the Guardian, they're like, the criminal justice system exposed, and it's like, come on now.
And the funny thing is, when you go back, like go to court this week as a young black man and go, but remember them did say in the paper that it's racist. You're not getting no blind with that. That don't make no sense.
I'll tell you what though, what is good about it is it updates some of the statistics that we have. Because sometimes, when you're looking for these statistics, be like, okay, 2011, 20...
Based on so he's
so he's up, the statistics are updated. So we can go through a few of the key findings. I'll just put a few of them down. They say that today, 41% of under 18s are in 41% of under 18s in custody are from minority backgrounds, compared with 25% a decade ago, and that young black people are now 9 times more likely to be in youth custody than young white people.
All right.
There was a couple others as well. One of the things he talked about was parent involvement. I thought that was different, because he was saying basically that of the 55,000 young offenders who were found guilty in courts, there were only 189 parenting orders that were issued. And so his what he was saying basically was, there's not enough being done around the parents. So if your child is behaving this way, what's being done around the parents, structuring the parents to get them involved? What are they doing at home? How do we get them involved to interacting with it? And he was saying, particularly when it comes to black people or minority ethnic groups, there's less there's less involvement, there's less parental involvement in it. So that was one of the things that came up there as well. And the rest of it's pretty much standard stuff, like black boys being 10 times as likely as white boys to be arrested for drug offences, though that they use drugs at the same, if not a slightly lesser rate. Stuff that we've heard.
And solutions, I believe he gave 35 recommendations.
I haven't seen all of those recommendations. I know
I haven't heard them. They keep saying he made recommendations, but I haven't actually seen the recommendations come out.
One of them was about the fairness of sentences, and he was recommending that people be able to, if you're convicted of a crime, you should be able to rate the fairness of the judge, basically. I don't know what, I think that was like, so for each case the judges would be
talking
rated,
like Amazon stars.
Kind of, yeah. Okay. Kind of.
Who is reading that?
Well, but I want to know who's judging the judge. Who's going to be responsible for giving the judge that rating?
Imagine, let me just hold you once. You come back on your point.
Yeah.
The question I've got is, why are we having this discussion like you said, newsflash?
Yeah.
We done know. Yeah. They knew.
Yeah, definitely.
Mr. Cameron did not need Mr. Lammy to go away for all a year, 2 years to do this thing. He knew from the off.
It's the illusion of progress, isn't it? So
we had a McPherson report. Yeah, I remember that.
But just the other day, Theresa May was supposed to have uncovered and discovered and unleashed corruption in the police force.
And mirrors, we call them thing there, because all that's supposed to do is make you go, oh, you see, they are looking at it because they're concerned. All right, but they've been doing that for ages. They used to be concerned about why we was running away in slavery and came up with a new disease.
Drapetomania.
All right, now they came up with Drapetomania, which is the disease of wanting to run away from your slave master. I still suffer.
Very much. Chronic. Terminal.
Yes, sir. Shakira, finish your points.
No, I was just saying that I want to know, because obviously, it's not just about, because we have an ICC that's supposed to, IPCC, Independent Police Complaints Commission, that's supposed to oversee the Babylon.
Yes.
And really and truly, they never oversee the Babylon. They provide the smoke and mirrors for the Babylon. So when these people are going to be rating judges, I want to know who's doing the rating, and who they're working on behalf of, and them kind of things there. That's the more important to me.
And can you choose? Can you go, I'd like a 5-star fair judge that the brothers have all agreed with. Them man has said this man, our boss judge. So can we work with him?
You know what I mean? That's it. We'll see how it goes. You know what I'm saying? But I think maybe it might. The only thing that would seem to make sense is the jury, like judging the judge, if that makes sense, or the fairness of the judge.
Right.
But even that, in a society that is, like this, we don't get fair trials
we had
by
a
jury of our peers.
Report, and David, I'll bring you in. We had a McPherson report that said we have institutionalized racism. So if the institutions are racism, must they not breed racism into the actual individuals?
Simple.
Like, it's just the way that we're using language. Simple. We're not really understanding. Like, you have to go and look up what institutionalized means, and then if every individual in a society is actually having to engage with all of these institutions, well, they're telling you already the Dali house smash up, nothing can't work. This new thing, I mean, like, we have a very enlightened audience here on Amiga FM. So when we're preaching to the choir somewhat, because we know, but then we have to start looking when these things come out, what should our response be? Brother David?